Hi guys, this is part 3 of the episodes. The first part we did the background, the second part we did the pot. Today we're doing the bread. So this is what we have so far. Having the loaves and the fishes are going to be last.
Yep, they're going to be in the foreground right here where that shadow is. Alrighty.
So that's what we are. Oh, by the way, if you're not caught up on part 1 and 2, I'd extremely suggest going and watching those before you come back to this video to make sure you're all caught up on everything. And see you guys when we get set up.
Okay. Okay, now see. Okay, we're going to start with the bread now.
We've already got this part, and we're going to do the loaves now.
Yeah, I was going to use that big brush, but I think I'm going to grab a different big brush. Big brush moment now. Alright, as always, we're going to start with the darker colors. So we're going to start with burnt umber. This, like I said, this is the darkest.
Burnt umber for any of y'all fellow painters here who are working on this.
And burnt umber being the darkest brown that I have in my collection. We're going to be needing 5 loaves per the Bible. As you can see, I wear glasses every place but when I'm painting, and there's a reason for that. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to stack up 5 loaves now.
Just 5 loaves.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now, kind of just laying in the loaves. And the painting I was working from, I gave as a gift, so we don't have that to work with. So now we're running blind on this, which is perfectly fine.
Isn't the loaves supposed to be a bit lighter?
Yeah, they will be eventually, but you need the shadowing in the backdrop. You always go from a darker shade to a lighter shade, and that was a good question and a good segue to bring that on. Thank you. So what we're doing now, I'll bring that and kind of have it just slightly in front of my picture. And as you can see, I'm just kind of laying in these kind of oblong, bun-like loaves, and that would have been a lot like what they would have had in the time of Christ. They probably would have been a tad flatter, probably whole wheat, and they would have been a darker bread than what we're used to now. More artesian and that kind of stuff you buy in fancy coffee shops nowadays. I know it looks like it's kind of a big mass of chocolate beans right now, but I'm hoping that's what it looks like at least. I'm sure there's other things that it could be described as, but I'd rather not talk about that.
Yeah, for any of y'all, you know who you are.
But you have to wonder what kind of people focus on that sort of thing. Yeah. And these probably were not vegan, so...
Yeah, vegan TJ, especially because of those fishes.
Use my drink. I don't get it spilled. I set myself a soda pop over here. So I'm going to go ahead and shake this up because my Christmas village is a little cluttered right now.
Yeah, all this Christmas village.
Yeah, alright, we're going to come in with a regular brown. Now, as you can see, the highlighting's over here, so we're going to start on this side, and you can tell it's not going to look like much yet.
Yeah, you can kind of see by the pot that the sun's shining over here, so you can kind of see that the sun's shining over there on the left too.
I'm going to have to get me some more of this brown paint and try not to get that much because I don't need it all over carnation. Alright, now kind of want to hit it along here. You leave that bottom edge dark because, like I said, that's shading. And try to get your brush strokes as close together as you can so that your bread doesn't look like it was painted. Because if you don't, your bread's gonna look slightly woody. And while I've seen bread that was as hard as a 2x4, this is not what we're looking for here. So
you can kind of see those highlights now.
Yeah. I'm going to come up here because that's a little bit on the dark side.
Yeah,
like
but there's going to be a whole
young...
lot of parts on this.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a busy one because we're going to be bringing in some shades of brown, even some orange type shades and some yellow shades. And I'm going to change.
These are some of the colors we're going to use, I think.
Yeah. Now we may end up having to do this as a 2-dayer because this paint is kind of wet, and like I said, anytime you're painting a bigger painting, you're going to have this problem. We're going to try one more shade, and if that doesn't kind of lighten it up a little bit, I may just kind of have to hold off on it till tomorrow. I'm going to grab a bigger brush because this bigger, wider...
These Loaves are probably going to be a 2-dayer, probably.
Yeah, because I'm going to bring in this big old wide brush here. Because it'll give me...
But not the widest brush you have, believe it or not.
Yeah, I've got one big one, and it looks like a house painter's brush. And see what we're doing, you can start to see how the coloring is starting to take shape. Now, let's see what I'm going to do. Little pro tip for people who paint. The lid of your bottle can be used as a container.
Yeah, just don't make a mess.
Yeah, just don't make a mess. I get that a lot. People always tell me, don't make a mess. As I'm making a mess most of the time. So I'll come around here. You can see why I brought that big brush into it, because you get rid of a lot of the little tiny brush strokes, which are kind of a nuisance. Yeah. Pardon Kid Mad, she's not feeling good. She got a bit of a tummy ache.
If my hand's a bit shaky, sideways, don't mind it. I'm trying to worry on everything else.
Yeah.
Don't worry about actually watching this in real time and watching it on the camera, keeping my hands steady with everything else going on.
Now we'll come back to the smaller brush and kind of...
You probably need to get that middle one right there again.
That middle one's kind of under some stuff, so I don't want to have it too highlighted.
Yeah,
you're going to have some highlight, but it's not going to be quite to that same degree. Now, when you're done with that, you just kind of pour this back in. Make sure you get it in there. See, now we're just pouring the paint back in. Now we can seal it back up. Now that may get some in the threads, and then maybe I'll paint in the next painting later, but we'll see. Alright, we're going to come in with a little classic caramel. See, bread bakes because of something... Oh, what was the name of that process? Maillard process. Basically what it means is that it is the darkening process on toast or bread or anything like that is what they call a Maillard reaction. And these breads like this were cooked probably similar to modern day tandoor bread from India. And it was, fire roasted, or it was sometimes griddled, something like that. And bread's been around for, thousands of years. I mean, that Iceman dude they found up in the Alps in Austria, frozen in the ice 10,000 something years or 5,000 years, something like that. His last meal was a flatbread sandwich of goat meat and oatmeal. Doesn't sound like much, but I'm sure it'd probably pay a pretty penny in modern day coffee shops. People are kind of weird that way. What's old is now new. But back then, what passed for currency was actually the other item he had, which was a copper axe. Kind of neat. Alright, we're going to probably have to let this one dry for a little bit. Then we'll come back to the bread. Alright, I think that's going to be enough for right now, and we'll have to let that dry till morning.
Okay.
Alright, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Melvin Mad, and if you send me an invite, I'll send you an invite, I'll friend you and then send you an invite to Von Mad Productions. And this is Dr. Von Mad and Kid Mad signing out. See y'all on the flip side.